Welcome to the Leading Owls podcast, brought to you by Rice University's Doerr Institute for New Leaders. Each week, we bring you inspiring stories and practical tips from successful student leaders, faculty, and staff, along with leadership experts and coaches that will help guide you in your own leadership journey. Today, we are sitting down with Rice Student Association Internal Vice President Crystal. She is a member of Hanson College and has extensive experience as a Rice student leader. Before her current role, she served as the SA External Vice President, Director of Government Relations, and Hanson New Student Representative. Please welcome Crystal. Hi, Crystal. Thank you so much for joining us today. What are you most excited about coming into your year as Internal Vice President?
I'm really excited about just working with the incoming commission chairs and the new student representatives. In my past role serving as External Vice President, I feel like a lot of that was working with admin and faculty, with the senators and the university standing committee or the USC reps. And, although I do love and respect many of the admin and faculty that I talked with, I think my favorite part of being External Vice President was definitely the idea building and being in a position to help support various creative ideas that the USC reps and the 3 senators that I work closely with on the University and External Committee. I just think in general, as a person that's kind of an advocate for just great ideas and the amount of passion that these past senators had and USC reps, it makes me just really eager to see what the new student representatives have, and I guess the commission heads as well, I'll be closely working with as Internal Vice President. And I guess aside from that, just being excited to plan more opportunities for the student body to engage more with the student association and finding ways to increase voter turnout, increasing the pool of diverse applicants in the student association. I think just overall mentioning how, I guess, my generation is pretty creative, and I just want to be able to give them that platform to get more voices and more people to have the great attention.
I think that's so lovely. And it's really nice that you want to foster all those new people, all the new ideas and the new students that are coming in, because they bring so many cool ideas with them. And once they get here, they kind of forget about them. So it's nice to get them when they first get here. What was your first leadership role that you ever took on in your life?
Probably something generic, maybe line leader in elementary school. But I guess the leadership aspect of it wouldn't necessarily be just being the line leader. The leadership side probably came from more of who I was when I talked with my peers in the class. But in reality, I knew a lot of my classmates or friends wanted to be line leaders. So just being that dynamic play out. I remember just sometimes even just oh, line leader's not all bad. I'm probably missing a lot of the fun because I can't see anything behind me, and just reassuring that. But I do remember there was a time I literally asked me, please don't make me line leader today. And I just feel in general, as a leader, just being able to tap into that side, gauging how everyone is feeling, and just having some of that sympathy and empathy to be aware of how others perceive you and the opportunities that they also feel like they deserve, and just being able to give them that chance.
Yes, empathy is a huge leadership skill that often gets overlooked. So that's really cool that the place that you're coming from in your leadership style. What was your first leadership role at Rice?
It was being a new student representative for Hanson and Student Association. Coming into Rice, I knew I wanted to be involved in student government. So I felt like that role would be a good intro into learning more about Rice and how their student groups run. And through that role, I was a part of the Diversity and Inclusion Committee. Being a freshman, not really sure how things work. I kind of was just a helping hand and offering ideas where I could. So I think that experience in general is one of the reasons why I was encouraged to run for IVP, because I wanted that NSR, new student representative experience, to be more focused in the sense of molding the new generation of leaders at Rice. And I was definitely confused and didn't know what to do. A lot of times, every position has a learning curve. So I think it's good when leaders are kind of given that grace to learn.
What do you think is the most crucial skill a leader needs?
As a leader, you're put in position to delegate, correct, teach, reteach at times, and just a lot of interactions with people with a variety of personalities. You kind of have to learn how to communicate effectively with someone who is maybe going through something in their life, or someone who maybe is being ridiculed by other members of the team, or even members that just have been involved for so long that they kind of feel jaded in their roles. Just being able to constantly put yourself in their shoes to help make your team, the team. I know there's this one African proverb that I personally love. It's he who thinks he's leading and has no one following him is only taking a walk. And I feel that's just representative of how I feel leaders should kind of think when they are in these positions, because if your team is not happy, then you shouldn't really be happy, because they're an extension of your leadership in a way. So I feel somehow, somewhere, when something is wrong, it's sort of your job to help get everyone on the same page, no matter if it's only one person feeling that way or every single person, because everyone is valuable in the team. Like tapping into that emotional side and assessing the needs of your people. Like, was it a hard week for us? Maybe let's just cancel the meeting and everyone can email me their updates. Just being aware of how to handle internal conflict, gauging how people are feeling, or the people directly involved versus the people who are just hearing about it. How is this making them feel? How's it impacting what they're doing?
What advice would you give to freshmen coming into Rice who want to get involved in leadership?
Just don't take on more than you can handle. Being a member of a team is just as valuable as leading a team. So you don't need to be in 10 different leadership roles. You can be interested in 10 different things, but don't commit to everything. Maybe find that 1 or 2, maybe 3, but really like 1 or 2 strong passions and interests of yours to test the waters by maybe starting in a committee of that organization and seeing how you like it. Because sometimes even if you do like the idea of an organization, you may not mesh well with the people, and like that's okay, but it's a reality. I feel like you wouldn't want to be stuck into a leadership position for an organization that you don't really feel you can be your best self in, because then the organization's going to not be its best if the leader's not doing its best. So just only tap into what you're actually passionate and interested in.
Spreading yourself too thin is something that's so easy to do, because when you're a freshman, you want to do everything. What are some things that you do to further develop yourself as a leader? Books, podcasts, trainings, what do you do?
I like to just talk with other leaders, seeing what works for them or maybe what is not working for them. I think even just talking to people who have held positions that I'm now holding, seeing how that experience was for them as well. During my time at Rice, more specifically, I did attend some leadership development that I don't know if it was like the CCL or CCD or something that they host. So I attended like a few, just like passing by and like, oh, something in the grand hall, maybe I'll sit in. But I feel like when I attend their events, I always leave learning at least one new thing. Everyone always phrases something differently or gives some advice. Leadership panels, I think those are a good resource for me.
Who is a leader at Rice that has inspired you, be it another student, someone that you served under in a leadership role, or a staff member, a faculty?
I don't know. There's so many people that I could consider. I guess from a more my age mate level, maybe through like just the student association. Working with Solomon, he was the previous SA president. He really wanted to turn student association around. And I think he did a really good job of getting it back to the same place, because it's not hard trying to get an organization back when optics for the club is looking really bad. So I think he stayed motivated, and I think he also invited people to be members of his team that also shared the same interests and goals. I think that made it really successful. Just even like away from the student association, just like the leaders of the affinity groups. I think it's a very inspiring position to be able to bring community for people who may not feel valued or heard for whatever reasons on campus, and just giving them that safe space. I know it can also feel like a lot of pressure as someone that's also in a leadership role for the African Student Association, just knowing like a lot of people do just depend on this community, and just being able to relate and provide them with the resources and that support.
Finally, what cartoon character do you think is a great leader?
I guess I could play Dora. She reiterates a lot to make sure her followers are understanding everything going on. In the face of trouble, she always finds like a solution. She values the members of her team, like the map or the backpack. And
that's an excellent choice. One more question I was going to add on. How was Beer Bike?
Beer Bike was fun. This is my third beer bike. Now that I'm a junior. So although I guess I have an idea of like what the events will still each year, there's different energies that people bring. I think it's always an entertaining experience. What Hanson.
Thank you so much for joining us and sharing, your wisdom and the things that you're excited to do this coming year. We're really excited for you and to see all the great things you guys are going to do.
Yeah, thank you again so much for having me.
Thank you for joining us for the Leading Owls podcast. We will be back next week with more leadership journeys and tips to share. New episodes release each Wednesday. For more information on the Doerr Institute for New Leaders and our free leader development programs for Rice students, please visit doerr.rice.edu.